Welcome back for another video about Configuration Manager. So in this one, we will finally install a Configuration Manager client. So we did all the configurations. We have the roles, we have the boundaries, distribution point group. We change the default client settings to small changes. And now it's time to install the client. So before we install the client, let me open here the pane. So there are a couple of ways we can install the client. Okay, so we can install the client via OS deployment. So when you are doing the installation of the client, we already installed the Configuration Manager client. So we can do via, you can write here, GPO. So you can have startup script or logon script. And you can have also delivery via software. So keep your software delivery. We can have manual. So you are manually installing the client. You can use exactly the same startup script that you created. You can run the command line manually. We can have via so OSD GPO manual client push, and this is what the option we are going to see today. And you can have via WSUS, and of course you can have updates, so via Configuration Manager. Okay, and you can have other options. I will put here other solutions. So imagine that you already have LANDESK, for example, and you are getting rid of LANDESK and using Configuration Manager. You can use LANDESK to deploy the Configuration Manager client. You can easily, also if you are migrating from one Configuration Manager environment to another, you could use Configuration Manager to deploy the client. So then you can still use Configuration Manager to deploy the Configuration Manager client, but it could be via update or via replacement. So the normal ways, so we are talking about those top 5 here, those are the ones that we normally use: OSD, GPO, manually, client push, and WSUS. The update is, at least in my opinion, is always used. That is a auto upgrade settings. We are going to learn about this later on. WSUS, I don't use quite a lot. I think in the last couple of years I haven't using any. The ones I normally like is OSD and client push, manual, and GPO. So it depends a lot on the environment, how you want to deal with the environment. So of course you are start fresh. Every single machine will be rebuilt. You do via OSD. Manual and client push, you may do for troubleshooting, we may do for servers, and then GPO you could do for desktops and servers as well. So there are a lot of ways you can deliver this. Like I said, we are going to look at the client push. So the first one here on the OSD is Configuration Manager client responsible. So there is no extra security rights. GPO, then we will not have, GPO looks after this. Manual, you need to have administrative rights. Client push, you need to have administrative rights plus firewall changes. And WSUS is via WSUS. Configuration Manager, so through the SSM, the update, there is already everything in place. Configuration Manager is take care of this. And with other solutions, that will depend on the other solutions, but you need to have administrative rights on the machine. Okay, so I have here my Configuration Manager. So the first thing I will perform is a change on the client push. So if I go here in administration, sites, configuration sites, and here on the top, client installation settings, I will change the client push installation. So I will not enable because I don't want this to be forceful. What I mean by that is every time configuration manager discovers a new computer, will try to force the installation. No, what I want to do is just I will manually do the client push, and I just want to add the accounts that will have rights to configuration manager client. So I have then one account. I will add one account. I don't record the name. Here SCCM-NA or net. Actually, I'm supposed to have another one. Yeah, here SCCM push. This is the client push account. And let me type the password. And of course, I will check. Could be any share. I will check if I can connect to the C drive of one of the workstations. And I can. So this tells me this machine is administrator on that computer. Okay. And the installation properties, as you can see, remember that I said the configuration manager client will connect to the Active Directory if it doesn't know what's the site code. So this is part of the installation properties, and I will say connect to that configuration manager environment. So 001, and I will add here the FSP or the fallback status point that we installed, and I will put the server name srv0002 classroom.intranet. So this is the default for every single installation client push. And now I will click here OK. So my client push configuration is done. Okay, so the first thing to install the client push, let's go to assets and compliance, and let's go here to the devices. So I need to be sure the device is listed here, otherwise I will not be able to install. Also, the device must be member of the all system collections. So now what I'm going to do is go to device collections, all system, right click, show members, and I will make sure the device I want to install is part of this. So in this case here, we have our workstations. If they are not, let's say you just discovered and you want to install, you can right click the all system collection and update membership, or you wait configuration manager to update the information. So because it is, I can easily come here and install the client. But before we start, let me open a log. So is the CCM log. I will, before open, I will open via CM trace here. And because I don't want to see all the old stuff that's there, I will open the CCM and I will ignore existing lines. So just the new lines will appear for me. So on the configuration manager, I will right click workstation 1 and install client. And I'll click next. And those are the informations we need to say. For example, allow client to be installed on the domain controller. For example, if I'm requesting to be installed on a domain controller, it's not the case, so I will not always install the client. So imagine that the client has already there is already one client there. So I will, if I select here, I can have uninstall, or I can just kind of repair. It's not the case. And I'm going to install from a specific site. I will select this. I always like to select this to make sure that I'm using the right site. Sometimes you have 2-3 sites in a hierarchy. So I'm using now the training lab. Otherwise, what's going to happen is, let me just move. You can see here there is a site code assigned to that machine. So it's blank. Now it basically means that configuration manager doesn't know. If we leave for a day or so, now it will appear the site 001. But in this case here, because it does not have there, I will normally like to select this option. Okay, so then I'm going to click next and next as well. And then the request has been successfully. If the machine wasn't a member of the all system collection, for example, you would see an error on this completion. So if you look at the logs, something is happening. So let me just go back here. The request has been started. So it's attempting to use the admin shares using the client push account. Has been connected. Understanding that is Windows 10. It failed to connect to the CCM root WMI. That's okay because there is no client there. Copying the files. That's required. And started the process. So create a service there. And now is everything seems to be started. So let's move now to the Configuration Manager client. If I open here the Task Manager, hopefully we will be able to see there is a new process called CCM Setup, and we have here. So the Configuration Manager client is actually started. The Configuration Manager installation. If we go to C Windows, we're going to see there is a folder called CCM Setup, and underneath that is going to be all the binaries that it downloads from the management point or the nearest distribution point. And there is logs folder as well. So there are a lot of things that installed. For example, Microsoft Policy Platform, VC++, firewall configuration, and so on. So as you can see here, and lots of logs happening. The main one is of course the CCM Setup. I open here via Notepad. I don't think I have the... No, I don't have the same trace. Let me just copy from the training file source, SCMCB, extract, SMS, tools. Let me just copy here to C Windows. And now we'll be able to see what is happening. Yes, so now we have the Configuration Manager trace 2 as default. And you can see here, Configuration Manager is doing a lot. Lot of stuff is going on. Okay, the installation takes about 5 minutes, even less than that. As soon as the installation is done, the Configuration Manager client will start processing all the data, connect to distribution points and so on, connect to the management point and so on. So you can see here CCM Setup is still there, soon will disappear, and you're going to see only CCM exec right now. So it basically means the installation is completed. Okay? To make sure the installation is completed, so you need to have the CCM exec here, and you open Control Panel. You are going to see, if I change from category to small or large icons, Configuration Manager. Okay, so this is the part of the installation. If I click in the Configuration Manager, you see here General, Components, Actions, Site, Cache, Network. So now Configuration Manager is connecting to the right servers to download the policies and so on. I know this because here there is only 2 actions. It would be a lot more. And I know it's connected to the site 001 because I have here. And I know things are going well so far, because if I go back to Windows, there is 2 new folders. One is CCM Cache and the other one is CCM. So CCM Cache is where all the files Configuration Manager will download from now on will be saved there. And CCM is where the Configuration Manager client was installed, and we have here a logs folder. So the logs is being populated. Okay, there are lots of logs that we can see after the installation, but this Okay, now Configuration Manager will do all the work for us. And if everything goes well, if I go back to Configuration Manager, let's close this log. Soon this workstation 01 will be changed here, site code 001 and client equals yes. So Configuration Manager is still, Configuration Manager client still doing what's supposed to do. And you can see here that I don't have policy request, DDR, any information. So Configuration Manager almost didn't send any data yet. And it will happen in the next 5-10 minutes. So I will pause the video as soon as I have the data down that the Configuration Manager has received. Then we will continue. I'm still waiting for things to get installed, but I will just start the process with the other two workstations. So workstation 2 and 4. I will right click and install the client. As you can see, I can do this with many with multi-select. And now the clients will start installing. So one of the things to show you here, if I select the workstation 1, go to properties, some information is actually being already populated. If you look at this agent name, we have the system discovery that was great before, and we have client registration and heartbeat discovery. What it means is the client has been installed properly, registered itself to the client, and because this is the first time, it already sent the heartbeat discovery saying, hey, I'm alive. And you can have here, if you see here below, there is the dates and times. And you see a lot of stuff will start being populated. We have the client version, client type, and so on. Okay. And if we search for the operation system, we have here that's a Windows 10. So there are a lot of data that is being collected, and we can see here that before was a question mark, now is green. Basically means the machine is online in the last, or has been online in the last 15 minutes, but it's still to send more data. As soon as this machine sends data, what we can do is, one of the things we can do is to have the Resource Explorer. So to check what's the hardware of the machine, what is the file details on the machines. So as I said, this will take some time right now. We'll pause the video as soon as we have the Resource Explorer, the information about hardware and software inventory populated. I will come back to you. So we have already, I have a refresh here, so we have all the 3 computers active. And if we get to the workstation 1, Resource Explorer, so the same, similar to the right click, start Resource Explorer. So then we open the Resource Explorer and see here the hardware information has been populated. So we have lots of information that already been collected from the client, like installed applications, 64 bits into 32 bits, because that is a 64-bit machine. Operation system, somewhere here there is a logical disk here. So we can have lots of information about the computer, and it's still data to be collected. So we still haven't actually collected all the file details, but as soon as the machine sends data, we will see this data here. And as you can expect, everything that Configuration Manager has information about this machine can be used to create collections, to create groups. We are going to see this on the next video. So I hope this has been actually informed for you. And as you can see here, we have already some extra information: policy request, heartbeat, hardware scan, software scan still. So I hope this has been informed for you, and I will see you on the next video.